All right, today we're going to talk about straight-handled table tennis rackets. Rackets usually come flared handle. This is an example of a flared handle. Hope you can see that, a slight flare there. Straight handle. There's some other possibilities, anatomic handle, conical handle. I'm not going to address those. I don't know a whole lot of people that are using them, and I'm not going to sit on the fence on this. I like straight handles, and I'll talk about flared handles and some of the advantages of them, but I've been using straight-handled rackets for many years, and the first time I picked one up, it was like, yep, this is better. And it's a personal thing, and maybe you're using a flared handle, and I don't think anything I say is going to make you go out and get a straight handle, but I'm going to make a good case for it if you're not sure exactly what direction you should go. And so first, let me talk about the flared handle. That's probably the most common handle that's out there. It's what you'd find in sporting goods stores. Some companies only make flared handles, but just picking up this flared handle racket, it really does feel good if I'm making a forehand looping stroke. Anything with the forehand, if your game is really built around forehand looping, forehand attacks, that you might be the person that really does prefer the flared handle, and it might work well for you. No reason to change. I'm not going to argue with the rest of the world. It's well suited for that type of shot. My point with straight handle is that it's better for nearly every other type of shot. Backhands are going to feel more comfortable. You're not going to have that flared part out at the end of the racket that to me sort of feels like it gets in the way. Now, like I said, if you've been using flared, going to straight is going to feel weird, but the one thing about a straight handle is it's going to fit more easily into most players' hands, because once you get the flare on the end, then if it's flared too much, flared too little, then you got to deal with that. So you might buy a racket with a flared handle and say, oh man, that's too small, it's too big, it's flared too much, not enough, whatever the issue is. Straight handle, most of them are very, very comfortable, fit nicely, and I've got 3 of them here. This is the racket I use. That's straight. Got a hard bat racket, not straight, doesn't feel that different. This racket I used to use, and actually had the most comfortable racket I ever used, straight handle, cork on the outside. I don't know why more rackets don't have cork, because that feels great, other than the fact that it wears out and kind of chips up a little bit at some point, but it's really, really comfortable with a straight handle. My real point about the straight handle is that in table tennis, you're going to be making slight movements. If you really watch professional players, you will notice that they make little adjustments with their hands frequently on touch shots, pushes, reaching out for shots, having to extend a little bit. Defensive players flip their racket much, much easier with straight handle. That's one reason I like it, but even if you don't, the little shots, the backhands, the little adjustments, the micro adjustments that you make if you really get a feel for the ball are far easier with straight handle. The idea, a lot of other coaches will tell you, is that you want your racket to feel like your hand, that it's part of your body. And I feel like the little movements that you can make with a straight handle that are easier to make with a straight handle really help that feeling of touch, It's personal preference, but I think there's a great case for not just automatically going to a flared handle, particularly if you're a backhand-oriented player, if you're a defensive player, if you don't have a real strong forehand loop. The idea is that this flared handle will help the racket from from you throwing it out of your hand, from it slipping out of your hand. I really haven't seen anybody do that. I've been playing for quite a while, but if you've really got control of it, if you're loosening your grip when you need to, tightening when you need to, racket flying out of your hand is not going to be a problem. I think most really good loopers could loop just as well with a straight handle as they could with a flared, but again, it's personal preference. I said I'm not going to sit on the fence about it. I think straight handle's the superior one, but I'm sure there's people that think completely different. But that's it for today. Hope you'll make some comments. I'd like to get some feedback on what your preferences are with the handle. But if you're thinking about flared or straight, you might want to consider the straight handle. Thanks a lot.